Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. Today, a little bit of blast from the past. I know you might have expected me to just play some God of War, but the reason I'm not is because when you're just playing God of War, you're running around, you're doing stuff, side stuff, whatever. The characters converse, and they just have like these little bits of dialogue, and you get a lot of the lore from those little bits of dialogue. And since I'm planning on making a video on the game, I need to hear all that and comprehend it and actually listen to it. So it's not really conducive for a hanging with Mangg, because I can never pay attention during a hanging with Mangg. Then the only other thing I've really been playing has been Skyrim, with Ultimate Skyrim. So I figured, why not play a little Earthbound? James Rolfe recently released an AVGN episode on Earthbound, which was really weird to see, because Earthbound, of course, is fantastic. And he even really acknowledges this. I think he really just wanted to talk about Earthbound quite a bit, and just, he's been playing it, and I can relate. I've been playing a game a lot, I tend to want to talk about it. But he went with an AVGN instead of just like a regular video. I mean, there is some humorous bits to it, of course, but it was probably more just like he hasn't released an AVGN in a while, and that's what people want. So I can understand. It was a good video. It was like a review of Earthbound more than like an AVGN episode, but yeah, love Earthbound, man. I don't remember many things from childhood. Like, I don't remember playing like Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger really as a child, or Link to the Past. I remember playing Earthbound as a kid, alright? It's just one of those games that just cements into your skull and never leaves. This music and just all the wackiness, and oh, it's just so good. It's beautiful. Anyways, this week on the Exploring series, busy week. Actually, no, it may have seemed like a busy week. It was pretty much a vacation week for me, so that's nice. Monday, we saw the release of the Ragnarok video, which seems to be doing pretty well. It's going to continue to do well now that God of War has been released. And the Odin video is experiencing a surge of popularity thanks to God of War. Getting a lot of people that are commenting saying, I'm here because of God of War, which is great. People educating themselves is always good. Then I released a video asking for questions for the Q&A, the Norse Q&A, which I will be recording later today. So that should be all fun and games. Then we got into the polls to decide the next series, which is always interesting. I really never know exactly what to expect. I definitely had an inkling that Celtic mythology would be doing pretty well, because it was like second place last time. But I never really know what to expect. There was a point where Dune was like second or third place, and then it completely disappeared, and we've never really seen it at all. Damn it. I wasn't ready for the big boys. So yeah, it definitely seems like Celtic mythology is going to be our winner, unless some crazy freak occurrence happens, which, no. So far, the winner of the first poll has always been the overall winner. But, you know, just to be fair to all parties and, you know, to not be like, oh, well, you know, I don't incorporate any of your suggestions, just whatever. To be fair, we do the 2 polls, see how it happens. But yeah, I'm planning on it being Celtic mythology. I've already ordered a few books on the subject. I don't know a damn thing about Celtic mythology. I couldn't name a single character or event or anything related to Celtic mythology aside from, like, I don't know, leprechauns or something. I don't know. So yeah, that'll be exciting. I expect by the end of it I shall be knowledgeable. I would say that would be the word I would use. Not an expert, but knowledgeable. More than most, I guess. And that'll be exciting. So yeah, tomorrow then I'll release the Norse Q&A. Tuesday I'll announce the winner of the polls. And then this week I'll be working on the Rohan video for Middle Earth. I'm sure some people have been waiting eagerly for another Middle Earth video. Then the next week I will be doing the God of War video. At this point in my playthrough, it's pretty clear that I want to do the video. But it's going to be different than what I originally thought it would have been. It's going to be much more pointing out the differences between God of War's mythology and the Norse mythology we know and understand. I thought it was just going to be like pointing out the references. But that was a little naive of me. It's more ingrained than that and also more altered than that. And so I want to set facts straight, as well as educate people that are only learning about Norse mythology from Marvel movies and God of War. Well, that was terrible. On a scale from 1 to 1, how hyped are you for Avengers Infinity War? I would go with 1. I'm gonna go with 1. Yeah, I'm very excited. You know, I've seen every Marvel Cinematic Universe film. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm gonna miss out on Infinity War. I'm a little concerned with which characters are going to pass away, because I feel like that's certainly a possibility. But it's gonna be pretty epic. It's really hard to imagine it being a terrible movie, you know? It's just, I feel like at this point that seems pretty unlikely. Even Avengers 2, which some people, I didn't quite live up to the hype, I still think that's a pretty solid movie. Anyways. So yeah, after the God of War video, then we will start the Celtic mythology, or, you know, whatever the next series is. Whatever. Okay, on this channel then, of course, we tried the great Twitch God of War project, which didn't end up working. I mean, I streamed the first part, and I was originally planning on streaming, like, Thursday night for, like, 3 hours. But I got like an hour in, and then my internet went out. And I don't know why. It seemed like a really unfortunate time. It's not like we have regular outages. It's just that time exactly. And since I did like the PS4 sharing thing with Mert, because I'm a good guy, it means you can't even play single-player games if you don't have an internet connection. And so I thought about doing like when I had Monster Hunter World with no internet and just using my phone, but I would need to keep the connection on the whole time, and that's just murder for your data plan. So that was a no-go. So that was just all kind of a bummer. My internet came back, but it was like, I don't want to stream again, I'll just record it. And then the next day I did stream for like 3 hours, which was good. It was a nice way of doing things, I guess. For those times when I want to stream a game for 3 hours, which is not most of the time. And, but then at the end of the stream, towards the end of the stream, I lost internet again. And I just let it, like, reconnect. It didn't take that long to reconnect. But as far as Twitch is concerned, it counted as a separate broadcast, which is not how I thought it worked. Because I didn't hit, like, stop streaming, I just let it reconnect. But no, it was a separate broadcast, which means that since I like my videos neat and tidy, it meant that it was actually 2 separate broadcasts, and there was no way for me to combine the last little bit onto the broadcast. It was just, I don't know, that pissed me off. And then, for the uploading part, my normal process of uploading videos onto YouTube is I render the video at like 1 a.m. and then I upload it right before I go to bed. Like, it's literally the last thing I do before I go to bed is hit upload, and then you just hit publish, and then as soon as it's uploaded, processed, it just posts it on YouTube. And so that's it, it's done. I don't have to sit there. But for Twitch, you can't publish it until it's fully uploaded and processed. Which I thought at first, like, okay, it's not a huge deal. I can just alter things a little bit. But then, I was sitting there trying to upload the 5th part, the 5th video, and it never processed. I left it there for like 4 hours, and it didn't process, and I'm just like, this is all too much, man. It's all too much. So, yeah, we went back to YouTube. You know, there's an audience on Twitch, certainly, but I just feel like it's all geared towards streaming. That's what they do. And, you know, they're toying around with the whole upload thing, but I feel like they really intended to just be like an accompaniment to streaming. And streaming just isn't really my bag. Sometimes it's fine and entertaining, but I just do not have that sort of attention span. So, you know, for now, we'll stick with what works. And so that's right on YouTube. No fuss, no muss. Yeah. So, God of War, I uploaded 3 parts in very quick succession. For those that want to just get into the meat of it. But for now, we'll probably just keep to a regular upload schedule. which is not very quick. It'll be a while until I post all the God of War videos, but for me, I need to finish the game very quickly. So most of my waking time is spent... What the hell, man? Is spent playing God of War. Because I'd like to be done by the end of this week. So then the following week can be just devoted to writing the script and working on it. Aside from that, Final Fantasy VII is going to keep on plugging. And... great. And... that's pretty much it. Not much else to say. Alright, so... as far as board games are concerned this week, we did play something yesterday. We got together a little group to play some Eldritch Horror, which is always a fun time. You know, if it was a lesser game or something like that, I might have refrained from board games just to keep playing God of War. But spending a few hours just playing some Eldritch Horror, I can do that. And we ended up losing, which is always appropriate. We went up against Abhoth, which we had never done before, the source of uncleanliness, and he covered the world in shit. Wow. I am severely just a piece of shit. Yeah, but it was pretty, it was a good time, because they kept dying constantly, and so it really just racked up the Doom tracker, and I kept my same character from start to finish, so it's a fun game. I mean, Arkham Horror, the card game, is probably better just because you have more options available to you while playing the game. And like, you know, the deck building aspect, things like that. But for just to sit down with a group and just play something, Eldritch is pretty good. I would like to get back to Arkham at some point and try it again. We haven't played Arkham in a long time, and that was really like... that was my real introduction to modern board gaming. I mean, that's what kind of set off the whole thing, was Arkham Horror. But anyways, more importantly is the Sprawl. So we are in the middle of a mayoral campaign in the Sprawl. And so this week we officially kicked off the campaign. I had a press release where I did my speech, announced my candidacy. And so, you know, I think we'll all admit that that session was not the most exciting. It was a lot of sort of like setup and bookkeeping and things like that. Nothing really that exciting happened. You know, I got a campaign manager, and we set up a little campaign headquarters. I don't even know what else I sent Phil to like go to the different news organizations and bribe them. And I did like an interview. You know, I talked about the urban restoration project, and I want to clean up the Bronx and fix it up. You know, just a lot of PR stuff. Nothing incredibly exciting. until we got to the point where I needed a place to really sleep, and I didn't want to sleep in the apartments because they're, you know, that's shit. That's why we're restoring them. And so we have the deed to Big Marco's house. He has a nice little residential, nice, well-to-do home, and we have the deed to it. And so we want to get it transferred over and take over this house. So we drive over there at night, and we find that the lights are on. So there are people in the home, and there shouldn't be. It should be just abandoned because Big Marco's dead. And so, you know, I have Thomas with me, and I'm like, you know, go knock on the door. And, you know, find out who's in there. Or go listen, you know, go find out who's in there, basically. So he goes over there. And he hears, like, multiple Italian voices in there. So there's clearly some group of them in there. And I'm like, well, they're in our home, you know. We gotta flush them out. So we go pick up Phil, and we're like, okay, you know, we're gonna take him out. You know, bring the chains. We're gonna drag him out of there. So I stay in the car, and I'm prepared to just, you know, drive away if things don't go well. Jesus Christ. And so they bust in. They've got, like, rubber bullets, and things are shooting off and flying, and there's, like, a mother with her, like, children in there, and there's some goons, and so they take them out, and they chain them up, and we throw them in the back of the van. And I'm like, alright, well, you know, there's children here. Even we are not that heartless to just, like, shoot them and just be done with it. So I'm like, alright, you know, we're just gonna take them, we're gonna take them upstate. We're gonna take them out into the country, and we're just gonna dump them off and, you know, warn them to never show their face in New York again, or it'll be the end of them. And, you know, you'd have to be a pretty shitty mother to just be like, you know, just openly defy that and make, like, a big deal about this and try and, you know, try and hunt us down, or, you know, something like risk your children's lives just for really no reason. Just stay out of New York. You've gotten away with your lives. Just be happy with it. So we dumped them off upstate in, like, some forest, and we drove off. And that was pretty much it. I don't think they'll make a reappearance. But if they do, you know, we might have to play a little hardball. I don't know. Gug's not gonna let his mayoral campaign go down the tubes just because of some kids. But that was a pretty exciting sequence, because we really didn't know what we were gonna do with these kids and this family. We didn't know what was gonna happen, and it was just sort of a little exciting moment. So, earlier in the day, I was doing like this interview. This news crew came to the crappy apartments that I was trying to restore, and I was pretending to, like, work on them and fixing pipes and stuff like that, you know, pretending to be this great guy who cared about urban restoration. And so during this sort of, like, interview, I saw a prostitute, like, standing in the hallway, because they're all over the place. And part of my campaign is to be very hard on prostitution, because I have that secret evidence that the current mayor has fooled around with some prostitutes. And so I shoot away this prostitute. I'm like, get out of here, you know, you whore, and blah, 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 or something like that. I don't know. So later that night, when we went to bed in the apartments, because I couldn't go to sleep in the home. Like, the police were on their way. It was going to be under investigation for like a week or so. You know, who knows? They were going to be trying to find this family. So I slept in the apartments, and suddenly I woke up, and there was that prostitute, like, hovering over me with a knife in her hand. And so, you know, I tried to, like, grab her wrists, but I slipped, and so she stabbed into, like, my chest, and that hurt pretty good. And then I, like, wrestled the knife away from her, knocked her to the ground, and I stabbed the knife through her heart. And then, to make it look even better, I sort of cut myself up a little bit more. You know, just sort of those, like, nice, lengthy, shallow cuts. Looks good. And then, of course, I called 911. And so this was great PR. This is the best thing this prostitute could have done for me. Because this is, I'm trying to be very hard on crime and stuff like that, especially prostitution. And here you have a prostitute showing up in my apartment with a knife, trying to kill me. It's just great PR. I couldn't have planned that if I tried. Well, no, that's not true. I could have done that. But this makes it look purely, you know, not my fault. So it's good. It's very good. So, yeah, I went to the hospital. You know, I took some damage, sure, but, you know, they'll patch me up. And that's going to give me a big bonus in the polls. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So, yeah, I did hire a campaign manager. Basically, we were looking for, like, the Saul Goodman of campaign managers. You know, just somebody that knows all the sleazy tricks and everything and has no morals whatsoever and is just gonna be as corrupt as we are to help us win. And yeah, that's pretty much what we found. For the most part, I'm pretty happy with the guy we found. Jim Fixums, I think is his name. And so, yeah. I think from here on, it's going to be a little bit more interesting because problems are going to arise and we're going to have to deal with those problems, generally violently. But it's a very different campaign than our last Sprawl campaign, where we're doing like these really high-end heists and things like that, and using all these tech gear and yeah, I mean, it's definitely quite a bit different. We went into space, you know. This is a very different flavor of a RPG campaign. And it's just one of those things, it's like, if you only ever play D&D, like, if that is your only experience of RPGs, you would never get to do something like this. It would just never happen. And even if it did happen where you tried to run for the mayor of a town, it wouldn't be the same at all. It's just not the same at all, and it's great. You gotta expand beyond D&D, just, you know, for setting in general. Cyberpunk is so much different, and it has all of its own wonderful, wonderful flavors that you don't get with D&D or, you know, high fantasy. But yeah, it's good. I feel like the campaign is probably going to end once I'm elected, so I can't imagine it's going to be too far off. It depends on how much day-by-day stuff we go through. You know, if like a week goes by where nothing really exciting happens, that's pretty quick. Because there's only like a month or so before the election. But once I'm elected, I can't imagine there's going to be too much going on that's like actually worthy of RPG stuff. Because by that point, you know, we have like a whole... It would become a very different campaign at that point, and the other two players, Thomas and Phil, would really have very little input on anything, because, I don't know, I would just hire people to do stuff at that point. I don't know. I think that's probably the ending point. And then I don't know what we'll move on to, whether it's icons, some superhero stuff, or some Call of Cthulhu stuff. I've been meaning to run like a post-apocalypse one-shot, possibly a Fallout-themed one-shot. I think would be pretty interesting. Post-apocalypse is really like the one setting that we really should have tried out by this point, but we haven't. So at some point I'll have to figure that out. Yeah. But that's pretty much it for the Sprawl. Yeah. I guess that's about it. I saw Rampage this week, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Whether or not you'll like that movie pretty much comes down to one question. And that's, do you like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? If the answer is no, you're not liking Rampage. There's no way. Like, that movie entirely lives and dies based on him. It is like just a quintessential Rock movie. Fortunately, me and all my friends are big fans, so it works out. We all liked it. But without The Rock, it would be a very, very forgettable movie. I think. It's about as good as... It's as good of a Rampage movie as you could possibly expect. It's as good as any Rampage movie has the right to be. For, you know, based on a game that's just about big monsters destroying buildings and eating people. That's about it. And, you know, there's some cool action sequences in there. There's some pretty cool moments. But again, it comes down to The Rock. He makes the movie worth seeing if you like him. There's really not a whole lot else to say about it. You know, they didn't make the wolf a werewolf, which is what I think it is in the video games. It's just a big wolf. But there's more to it than that. Like, each of the animals has some traits that have been combined from other animals. So, like, the wolf is, like, part porcupine and part... Well, I don't want to spoil it. Well, whatever. It's probably part porcupine and part, like, flying squirrel or something. But for the most part, it's just a giant wolf. And more movies need giant wolves. Because it's really badass. Especially there's, like, a few shots when it's, like, in the woods. And they're in, like, it's from, like, a helicopter shot. And so you just see this giant wolf, like, running through the woods. That's real badass. That's some Fenrir shit. It was cool. Yeah, overall, I'd say it was a fun movie. It's not like, oh my gosh, I can't stop thinking about Rampage. It was just a fun little time with The Rock. That's about it. But yeah, this week is Avengers. on Thursday night. It'll be very exciting. Very exciting. Really, I guess that's about it. I guess I'll be leaving you with a short Hanging with Mangg this week. Which is probably okay. You guys have got plenty of Mangg content to watch. Between God of War and Final Fantasies and stuff. Yeah. I don't think there's any other, like, big upcoming games that I have to worry about. Which is good. I don't want to worry about any other big games. I need to be concerned with God of War. That's it. I think there was something in, like, early May that I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting that. I don't know. The Steam upcoming games list is so entirely useless. There's just so much shit on this platform. Oh my god. Look at this. Look at this. This is insane. There's like 20 pages between now and the end of April. It's absurd. How do you even find, like, what's important? All games are not equally important. There's probably a faster way to find out what I was thinking of. In fact, I'm sure of it. Let me see. Let me see. No, it wasn't on PS4. The hell was it? Oh, that's it. Pillars of Eternity 2 comes out May 8th. Yeah. And I kickstarted that, or it wasn't Kickstarter, it was Fig. Fig! Who the hell uses that? But yeah, I figged it. So yeah, I don't know if I'll actually be LPing that anyways. It's a bit lengthy and not really the type of game I'd LP. But I'm hoping it's fun. I wasn't super crazy about the first one, especially compared to, like, Divinity Original Sin. But aside from that, there's really not much to say for a while. Oh, there's Detroit Become Human. That game finally comes out. That might be a fun LP. I don't know, I kind of hope there's some early reviews of that. Because that game has the easy potential to be a huge pile of dog shit. But if it's decent, it could be a fun LP. Anyways, I should play Heavy Rain again sometime. I liked the theme and the setting of that game. Anyways, enough chat. I mean, State of Decay 2. When the hell does that come out? Oh, May 22nd. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, yeah. I'm absolutely gonna LP that. Hopefully that's good. Hopefully it improves upon the first one a lot. Because the first one was like, oh, you have all these different characters and you gotta switch them out because they have different abilities and different strengths and weaknesses. But no, I had the one character from start to finish. It was the black guy. I don't remember his name. Maybe it was Marcus. I don't remember. It was Marcus. Yeah, because he's the first playable character. You just play with him from start to finish. Yeah, the first one was decent, but it's not anything I ever want to go back to. So I'm hoping the second one is improved upon it. It's been in development for a decent while. Anyways, I guess that's enough chatting for today. Yeah, so some more God of War coming this week. Very exciting game. A lot of lore discussion going on. I'm not exactly racing through it because I will often pause for a while to just talk about lore. But that's entertaining to me. I don't know how great that is from an LP perspective. But I do what I do. Alright, my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.